In the early morning hours of April 1st, 2006, 27-year-old Brian Shaffer vanished without a trace in Columbus, Ohio. Brian was a second-year medical student at Ohio State University. He was described by friends and family as ambitious, funny, and full of life. He loved Pearl Jam, dreamed of traveling the world, and even joked about pursuing a career in music instead of medicine. Brian had a close relationship with his family, particularly with his mother, Renee, who had recently passed away after a long battle with cancer. Her death had left a profound impact on Brian, but outwardly he seemed determined to keep moving forward. Brian's relationship with his girlfriend, Alexis, was serious. They had plans for the future, and many close to Brian believed he was on the verge of proposing. Their relationship was filled with affection and dreams of a life built together. Alexis later described Brian as someone who was deeply thoughtful, who never missed an opportunity to express his love for the people close to him. That Friday night, Brian decided to take a break from the pressures of medical school. He planned a night out with his friend Clint Florence to celebrate the start of spring break. They started with a few drinks at a local bar and then bar hopped through the Arena District, a lively nightlife area. Friends later described Brian as being in good spirits, laughing and joking throughout the evening. At each bar, Brian was his usual charismatic self, making casual conversation with strangers and bartenders alike. They eventually ended up at the Ugly Tuna Saloona, a popular student hangout near campus. Security footage shows Brian arriving at the bar around 1:15 a.m., laughing and talking with two women by the escalators. After speaking with them, Brian walks slightly out of frame, back into the bar. That is the last confirmed sighting of him. This is the true story of the disappearance of Brian Shaffer. As the bar was closing, Clint and another friend, Meredith, tried calling Brian. They couldn't find him. They assumed he had left early, maybe heading home or meeting someone else. But when Brian's girlfriend, Alexis, couldn't reach him the next morning, and he failed to board their flight to Miami, alarm bells began to ring. Brian's father, Randy Shaffer, reported him missing. Police began an intensive search. They reviewed hours of surveillance footage from the Ugly Tuna and surrounding businesses. The footage showed Brian entering the bar, but never leaving. Not a single camera caught him exiting the building. This baffled investigators. The bar had only two exits, the main entrance, heavily covered by cameras, and a service door that led to a construction site. If Brian had used the service door, he could have been injured in the dangerous, partially constructed area. But an extensive search of the site revealed nothing. No signs of a struggle, no evidence of a fall, nothing. Investigators even used cadaver dogs in the search, but they found no indication of a body. Meanwhile, Brian's cell phone remained active for several days after his disappearance. Calls would ring but went unanswered. On one occasion, Alexis's call reportedly rang 3 times before going to voicemail, suggesting the phone was still powered on. Cell tower pings indicated that the phone might have been moving, but the information was inconclusive. Eventually, the phone stopped responding altogether. His bank accounts and credit cards remained untouched. His car was still parked near his apartment. It was as if he had simply evaporated. Attention soon turned to Clint Florence. Clint was the last person known to have seen Brian that night. When asked to take a polygraph test, Clint refused and hired an attorney. While his actions sparked suspicion among the public, police maintained they had no evidence linking Clint, or anyone else, to Brian's disappearance. To this day, Clint has never spoken publicly about that night. Theories began to emerge. Some speculated that Brian, overwhelmed with grief over his mother's death and the pressures of medical school, had chosen to walk away and start a new life. But if that were true, why leave behind everything he loved, including Alexis, his father, and his dreams? He had made plans, bought airline tickets, and seemed excited about the future. It didn't fit the pattern of someone planning to disappear. Others believed he had been the victim of foul play, perhaps attacked inside the bar or lured away by someone he trusted. Some wondered if he had been assaulted and his body hidden in the construction site, removed before authorities could find it. Others theorized that he might have been abducted and taken far from Columbus in the hours following his disappearance. A more chilling theory suggested that Brian had been targeted and abducted, either inside the bar or after leaving through the construction area. With no witnesses, no evidence, and no clear motive, every possibility seemed equally plausible. Some theorists even point to a mysterious figure seen loitering near the service door earlier that night, though the identity of that person was never confirmed. Still others proposed bizarre theories that Brian might have fallen victim to a serial offender, or even that something more supernatural had occurred. Paranormal investigators have speculated wildly, but no credible evidence has ever supported those ideas. Brian's father, Randy, never stopped searching for his son. He posted flyers, conducted interviews, appeared on national television, and pleaded for information. His heartbreak deepened when, in September 2008, he was killed in a freak accident during a windstorm, struck by a falling tree branch. He died without ever knowing what happened to Brian, and the memorial set up in his honor stands as a solemn reminder of a family's unending grief. Over the years, there have been reported sightings of Brian across the United States and even internationally, but none have been confirmed. Some claim to have seen him in Georgia, others in Sweden, but every lead ultimately led nowhere. In 2020, Columbus police issued a new age-progressed photo of what Brian might look like today, hoping to generate new leads, but the case remains cold. Despite thousands of tips, interviews, and countless hours of investigation, there are no suspects, no definitive leads, and no closure for Brian's loved ones. How does a young man simply vanish from a crowded bar without anyone noticing? How can security cameras capture his entrance but not his exit? How can someone leave behind no trace, no trail, no goodbye? Brian's disappearance remains one of the most haunting mysteries in American history, a chilling reminder that sometimes the most ordinary nights can turn into the unexplainable. What do you believe happened to Brian Shaffer? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoy true mysteries like this one, subscribe for more. Because sometimes the most chilling stories are the ones that really happened.